When it comes to changing our lives, we don't start with feeling good or getting inspired. We start with learning. If someone says, "I thought you'd come here today to feel motivated," well, that's probably not enough. If someone says, "We should be cheering and singing to get pumped up," no, that's not how it works. Changing your life doesn't begin with feeling inspired, it starts with learning. You need to learn where you went wrong. My teacher, who only went to 9th grade, explained it to me plainly. He said, "Kid, after living in America for 6 years, healthy, 25 years old, working for 6 years, only 1 year of college, no money in your pocket, nothing in the bank, not keeping your promises. Kid, there's only one explanation for that: you messed up." I could understand that kind of talk. If you're swapping an apple for a Hershey bar, it means you messed up. If you should walk around the block, could walk around the block, but won't walk around the block, you've messed up. Just go through the list and see where you've gone wrong. You don't need someone else to tell you, be your own teacher. Make a list of where you've messed up, because one mistake can affect everything else. So, we begin with learning, not inspiration. If someone says, "Just motivate this guy, he'll be fine," it probably won't work. If you motivate someone who's not smart, you'll just have a motivated, not smart person. So, we start with learning. What's the first lesson? If things aren't going well and you live in America, you've messed up. You don't need to move to another country. You might say, "Oh, the country's messed up." That's like hating on the soil, seed, sunshine, and rain, the things we need. Don't hate on what you have. When you have your own planet, you can change everything. But for now, accept things as they are. There's always room to improve, things to learn, and skills to get better at. We're never done learning because it helps us do well. Learning can turn things around if you're going the wrong way. We need mental nourishment from others, and we need to exercise our minds. We should be open to different ideas and learn to see both sides of an argument so we can strengthen our own beliefs. We should expose ourselves to different thoughts, beliefs, and ideas. Listen to different speakers and read different books. No one person or book has all the answers. We need input from various sources to manage our lives, relationships, finances, and time better. It's important to have a diverse collection of books, videos, and audio recordings. We need to hear different voices and viewpoints. It's valuable to consider things from different perspectives. If someone asks, "Have you thought about it this way?" and you say, "No," it's worth exploring. So, try standing where they stand and see things from their perspective. You might realize, "Wow, I never thought about it like this before." No wonder you see things differently. Here's the trick: make the most of all the knowledge and thinking out there. Stay curious. Always stay curious, no matter how much you've achieved or where you are in life. Keep that curiosity alive. Absorb as much knowledge as you can, and then what? Discuss it. Lay it all out and examine it closely. Look at it from different angles. Ask questions. Make your own observations. Remember, no one person has all the answers you're looking for. Learn from them, but don't think their way is the only way. Make sure that what you eventually decide to do reflects your own style, methods, and way of achieving things. It's important that your actions come from your own thoughts, not just blindly following someone else's advice. Think about where the advice is coming from and then do things your own way. It's okay to listen to others, take notes, and think about it, but always question and discuss it. Look at it from all sides. Be a learner, not just a follower. Building your ambition is a personal journey for each of us. Gather knowledge, then decide what's right for you based on your own thoughts, not someone else's. Don't just accept other people's ideas blindly, they might not be right for you. As you learn, sift through the information and figure out what's useful to you. Then you can create your own way of thinking, and that becomes a guiding light for you. So, make your own plan to avoid problems with someone else's plan. Discuss other people's plans, thoughts, and ways of doing things. Why? Because it affects everything: how much you value your plan, yourself, and life in general. It impacts everything around you, even how you use your time, the 24 hours you have each day. There's a link between valuing yourself and respecting time. People who value themselves also understand and respect the importance of using time wisely. Here's what I think is the best secret of rich people, something I discovered one day. I couldn't believe it when I realized that rich people and poor people both have about 24 hours a day. Wouldn't that make you curious to know what's different? Well, let me tell you, the difference lies in how they manage their time. By practicing a few simple habits every day, your whole life can change. Your future and your income can change too. You can learn from both good and bad experiences. The Bible is a great book because it tells stories of real people on both sides. Some are examples to follow, and some are lessons of what not to do. The other set of human stories is called warnings. They show what not to do. It's a treasure trove of information, what works and what doesn't. I also think it means that if your story ever gets into someone's book, make sure they use it as a good example, not a cautionary tale. All the successful people I know are avid readers. They just love reading because they're so curious and eager to learn. It's something they all have in common. Here's a good saying: all leaders are readers. They also listen to cassette programs, especially when they can't read, like when they're driving. Cassettes can help us learn new ideas and skills easily. Did you know there are cassettes and books on various topics like becoming stronger, making better decisions, improving speaking skills, leading effectively, having a positive impact on others, becoming more loving, building personality, gaining wealth, developing influence, becoming sophisticated, and yet many people don't use them? How would you explain that? Did you know that many successful people have shared their stories in books and on cassettes like this, explaining how they did it, and yet some people don't want to listen? How do you explain that? Maybe the person's busy and thinks, well, by the time I get home from work, it's late. I need to eat, watch TV, and go to bed. I can't stay up reading half the night. But this same person is struggling with bills. They're a hard worker, sincere, but remember, you can work hard all your life and still end up broke, confused, and embarrassed. You need to be more than just a hard worker. You need to be a good reader, a good listener. At least you could listen to a good cassette on the way home. You don't have to spend all night reading or listening to educational stuff, though it's a good idea if you're broke. But here's all I ask: just 30 minutes a day. That's it. If you can, make it an hour, but at least 30 minutes. Read something challenging or instructional every day. And here's another important thing: do it every day. Just like you wouldn't skip a meal, don't skip your 30 minutes of learning. You can skip meals, but you can't skip getting new ideas, learning from examples, and finding inspiration. There's a saying in the Bible that humans need more than just food to live. It says that after food, the next most important thing is words. Words feed the mind and soul. To be healthy and successful, we need both food and words. Make sure you get a good dose of words every day. I once told my staff that some people read so little that their minds suffer. And remember, to feed your mind properly, you need a good balance. Don't just read or listen to easy stuff. You can't survive on mental junk food. Good books and cassettes are like tapping into a treasure of ideas, just like you're doing with this program. And if someone has a good excuse for not spending at least 30 minutes a day on learning or investing in books and cassettes, I'd like to hear it. Spend the money, get the cassettes and books. The best investment you can make is in your own education. Don't cheat yourself when it comes to investing in your own future. Mr. Shaw encouraged me to start my library when we first met. He said, "Diet, educate yourself. Traditional schooling gives traditional results. Check the facts and decide if that's what you want. If you want better than average results, you need to educate yourself." So, I started building my library, and now I have one of the best. He suggested a few books to start with. Now, I have a Bible, which has 66 books in it. So, that was a good beginning, and my parents made sure I studied the Bible. But the first book Mr. Shaw suggested was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. If you don't have it, it's a great addition to your library. Earl Nightingale has it on cassette. The title, Think and Grow Rich, should catch your interest. I read it many times. Shaw said practicing things repeatedly helps you get better, and looking at my bank account back then, I needed a lot of practice. Some ideas in that book really changed my life. Looking back, the book was worth a lot, even though I bought it cheap. I learned a valuable lesson: something can be cheap but still very valuable. Before I met Mr. Shaw, I used to ask, how much does it cost? But after meeting him, I learned to ask, how much is it worth? I started focusing on value instead of cost, and everything changed. The next book he suggested was about nutrition. Shaw said, learn about nutrition. Feeling healthy is important for doing well. Some people struggle because they don't feel good. It's not that they're not smart, it's that they lack energy and health. So he emphasized the importance of nutrition. Some health books might seem strange, but you can find useful information in them. There are also cassettes on nutrition. Remember, don't just follow blindly, be a learner. If someone asks, should I follow what this book says, the answer is no. Read at least 2 books and form your own opinions. Don't just follow along, be a learner. So, take care of yourself. There's a saying in the Bible that goes, sometimes you want to do something, but your body feels weak. You have to work on both your mind and body. Sometimes your mind is ready to go in the morning, but your body feels tired. So, focus on your health. The books and cassettes someone owns show what they're most interested in. It's interesting to look at someone's library and see what it says about them. What does your library say about you? So, read all the books. Here's the good news, you don't have to read them all at once. Here's a suggestion, read 2 books a week. In 10 years, that's 1,000 books. If you read 1,000 books in the next 10 years, do you think it would have a big impact on your life? Of course it would. The exciting part is, it's only 2 books a week. But if you haven't been reading 2 books a week for the past 10 years, you're probably about 1,000 books behind. Can you imagine how much of a disadvantage it would be in 10 years to be 1,000 books behind? You might not be ready for some challenges, and you might miss out on opportunities because your knowledge isn't enough. Your beliefs might be too shallow, and you might lack skills, insights, and values. This could happen if you don't read books. Remember, a book you don't read won't help you. Let me give you 3 ways to change anything, any aspect of your life. Here are 3 ways. First, want it. Second, read. Become a good reader. All successful people I know are good readers. They're curious and always want to learn. They just keep reading. Become a good reader. That's my advice. Listen to what other speakers say and listen to me, then decide for yourself. Don't just follow along, be a learner. Reading is crucial for changing your life. You can learn from your own experiences, but also from other people's experiences. One book could save you years if you read it. Did you know there are books on becoming stronger, making better decisions, improving speaking skills, leadership, influencing others, and developing your personality? Yet many people don't read them. How do you explain that? They have the ability to read. Many successful people have written books sharing their stories and how they achieved success, yet some people don't read them. How do you explain that? Maybe they're busy or tied up. Some might say, well, after work, I'm tired. I have to eat, watch TV, and go to bed. I can't stay up reading. But if you're falling behind on bills, being a hard worker isn't enough. You need to be more than just sincere and hardworking if you don't want to end up broke. You need to strive for more than just being a good worker. You need to be a good reader. Spend time with successful people and listen to what they say. You can also learn from unsuccessful people. Take notes on both the good and the bad. Learn what not to do, as well as what to do. Learn from both positive and negative experiences, okay? Find out what books poor people read and avoid them. That's helpful information. But you can also learn from successful people. Spend time with them, listen to their words, and how they say them. It's important. We all have about 16 hours awake each day. Practice listening during those 16 hours. Listening isn't easy, but if you practice, you'll find great ideas from unexpected places. In sales training, we learn from kids. They're amazing salespeople. A father might say no to his son having an ice cream cone, but 30 minutes later, the kid is enjoying one. That's worth listening to for 30 minutes. Kids are persistent and know how to overcome objections, even without taking a class on it. They already know how. They don't need classes. When you tell kids no, they keep trying to convince you. They're experts at it. So, listen and learn. Now, here's some of the best advice I have for you. Poor people should invite rich people to dinner and listen to them. That's some of the best advice I have. If someone isn't doing well, one of the first things they should do is invite someone who is doing well and offer to buy them dinner. Spend some money, have a full meal, and get them talking. Keep the conversation going throughout the meal. If you can get a successful person to talk for 2 hours, they might give you ideas that can change your life and increase your income. But you're right, poor people usually don't invite rich people to dinner. That's the problem. Some might say, he's rich, he can buy his own dinner. I'm not spending any money on that. And they might also say, besides, we work at the same place. When you come home after a long day, it's usually late. You're lucky if you can even manage your own dinner, let alone go looking for a wealthy person to treat. Then there's the guy who's struggling to pay his house bills. He's a good worker, puts in effort, and is sincere. But being sincere and working hard isn't enough, otherwise you'll end up broke. You need to be more than just a good worker. You need to be a good listener and remember what you read and hear. Keep the valuable information in your journal. Now, here's another way to change your life: observe. You can learn a lot just by watching. Spend time around successful people and observe them. Success leaves clues. Notice how someone shakes hands and how others respond. People who are successful do certain things repeatedly, and if you pay attention, you can learn from them. Observe everything. If someone is earning $10,000 a month, pay attention to how they move. Maybe that's the key. Try copying their unique walk. If someone says it's a strange walk, just say, it's $10,000. I may not have the money yet, but I've got the walk. It has to start somewhere. Tonight, I urge you to be different and observe carefully what's happening around you. You can discover ideas that could change your life starting tomorrow, just by being a more attentive observer. Now, remember, there are 2 ways to see things. One is called sight, use your eyes to see. The other is called insight, use your mind to see solutions. Engage both your eyes and your mind. The best advice for developing sight and insight is to pay attention. Don't miss anything. In our weekend seminar, we teach that one of the biggest obstacles to success is being preoccupied and lacking concentration. When your mind wanders, you end up being average. Learn to focus. Don't miss a thing.